All right, guys, here we go. We're gonna head from northeast here down into northwest. Gonna check out some of the scenes, see what the district is looking like today, especially under lockdown, quarantine. A lot of cars out right now. A little surprising, but I'm gonna try to keep things pretty low-key today, not get buzzed by too many cars, hopefully don't get doored. Gonna play it safe for the most part, so it's not gonna be super exciting, but at least it'll give you guys an idea of what's going on in DC right now. I always kind of like this ride. This is my morning commute. It takes you from one area of DC to another, and you really get to see the difference in the city, what it looks like, who's around, what people are doing. And it's super cool to see it on bike because you're not enclosed by a car, but at the same time you can get to where you're wanting to go quickly if you need to, and it's easy to get in and out of places. Don't get me started on the DC streets. They're terrible, I know. Not only that, they're so hard to navigate. Basically, unless you lived here your whole life, or maybe if you're French or something, you can figure it out. I know they say this and that, and streets and letters and states. I'm always lost. I am gonna say that I'm glad to see that I haven't really seen any big groups out right now. So that's pretty cool to see people actually observing those rules in place. This is actually my first time testing out the camera mount. Last video I did, I had the helmet mount, and it's okay, I like it. So I went ahead and got some accessories for my GoPro, put some of those on there, and it makes it a little easier to shoot video in a bunch of different scenarios. So I think I'm pretty set now. Let's get up here and have some fun. Sorry about the sun. Little sunset ride. I can barely see, but hopefully you all can see, and if not, I'm sorry. Nobody saw that. I said we were going to play it mostly safe. So yeah, I'm super curious to see like what other people are doing to stay active, stay sane. I think a lot of people forget how much we really need to be connected, and even the ability just to go outside or see other faces is so important. Plus, we never liked being grounded as kids, you know? We always wanted to sneak out, break the rules. We're rebels, some of us. So while I'm heading out here, I'll tell you guys a little bit about my bike, if anybody's interested. So I picked this bike up just a couple months ago. I was looking for a commuter bike. It's a Fuji Jari, I believe is what it's called. And I've absolutely fallen in love with this bike. It's like a steel gravel bike. Frame's a little heavier than what I'm used to, but super durable. Gets me where I'm going. Gets a ton of compliments, and I really like that. Plus, I just love the way the bike looks, feels. I just recently put some 40 mil tires on the bike, added some grip, some knobbies on there, going under the tunnel now. It's crazy to see it with no tents under here. They've really cleared it out. Totally wild. For those of you who have not been to this area or seen this, there's normally, it looks like a camp of just homeless people sleeping under the bridge. And you can already see the change in scenery as we pass over, really getting ready to go from northeast to northwest. We're gonna have a little bit of fun, but again, nothing too crazy. Gonna head down into the financial district. My guess is gonna be locked up pretty tight. So that's where I work for the time being. Downtown DC. Try not to stalk me, please. Much appreciated. I'm around. Like I said, not super exciting. Because I'm trying to take it easy, not give anybody a panic attack. I don't need to be swerving in and out of cars and doing all that crazy stuff. Maybe some of you guys have seen some different videos where people are maybe riding what I would consider to be racing, really, through like the streets of New York on fixed gears, things like that. That's a lot. That's super dangerous. I'm sure that a lot of people, or the people who do it, they get some sort of excitement out of it, but man, and I'll admit it is kind of fun to watch, but boy, I cannot condone that. It really is pretty dangerous. So easy to get doored, so easy for somebody to walk out from behind a parked car. Lots of people in crosswalks, things like that. Just too easy for something bad to happen. I mean, I'm just weighing the odds and saying, probably not worth it, or at least not for me. It is what it is. To each their own, I guess. I can't tell right now if it feels quieter. I mean, it's, what time is it now? Just after 7 o'clock. I don't know, DC streets start to wind down around then. When I was out riding the other day, there was basically nobody out. Man, that was cool. Just being able to be out, riding through the city without having to worry about cars trying to buzz you off the road. And just overall, just a better and a more enjoyable experience. I'm hoping that one of the many side effects of this pandemic is people will really start to rethink the way that we do things. You know, we've been hearing so much about just the word essential. Who and what is really essential? And, you know, it's a tough question and a hard one to answer. For a lot of people, it doesn't feel fair, especially those who are doing the most vital jobs but are paid the least. But even in that, what I was saying is, I'm hoping that there'll be more commuter options, and really if they could just redo the bike lanes or give cyclists more opportunity on the road, that would be great. I think another thing is, you know, cyclists get a bad rap as I ride through a red light. But you know, it's because of the people who are doing this super dangerous stuff, weaving in and out of cars, not checking what they're doing, startling people. You know, I always try to remember that when I'm on a bike, motorists are not looking for me. I got to keep that in mind at all times. It's all about safety. Safety first, then let the fun, then you can have the fun. But you know, maybe I'm a worrywart, I don't know. Let's see, I'm gonna hop off the sidewalk here, get back out in the road. But it really is, it's crazy to see just so few people, but it's good to see people in small groups, you know, if they are out. Picking up a lot of wind here. Hopefully this doesn't destroy or butcher this section. Taking it pretty easy right now. Again, not in a rush. Not in a rush. Just enjoying being outside. Not touching anything. Not getting coughed on. You know, the simple pleasures. One of the things I realized, especially riding in DC, and this is what I'm talking about, is the safety. So in a lot of ways, motorists don't realize this, but it's actually safer and faster for cyclists to do some questionable things. One thing that a lot of people don't realize about cyclists is a lot of us are clipped into our pedals. And so if we want to stop, we've got to unclip. And so it actually does become a safety issue. What's safer to do? To unclip and then have to start again, especially if you're having to start on a hill, or maybe just roll through if there's no traffic coming. Yeah, probably not the most popular idea to be talking about, but it's just a fact. It is what it is. Again, safety first. Know that people are not paying attention. You know, just be smart. Look out for other people. That's what I like to do. So yeah, we're getting into downtown DC now. As you can see, the scenery's completely changed. Tall-ish buildings. As tall as they can build them here, you know, with that height restriction in place. Never ceases to amaze me. Just the complete and total difference from one neighborhood to the next. Again, the streets, the cars, the people. It's always just so fascinating if you just stop and watch, or just take your head out of your phone for a second, look up and see what's going on. So this is one of my favorite parts of the commute, especially on busy mornings, because they have these bus lanes that they just put in, and they're red, so everybody can see them and they know what they are. But it makes it really easy to just fly down the street. You just gotta be careful. Again, somebody could step out from one of these buses, so I've always just got an eye out. And I know the buses pull out. Insert joke here, but the buses, they'll turn left from here and head out, so it's just always good to, again, keep an eye out. But I mean, you see even now just having the whole lane, what a blessing. And I say that it's no small matter, just as a matter of safety. Again, I know I'm being boring here talking about safety, but for cyclists to have their own lane is such a big deal. Especially here in DC, and not just those torn up, shitty roads or those little bike lanes that aren't worth a damn, you know. They're embarrassing. Way to get your bike jacked up, you know, potholes and broken glass everywhere. If it ain't about the money, puff, I just don't care. I'd love to be your tour guide and tell you about all these different buildings, but I'm not a tour guide, and I don't know about all these different buildings. But this has been great, just a great ride. Not having to worry about cars or people walking out in the street while they're looking at their phone. Yeah. Just making sure I'm safe going through here, but not a whole lot going on. I'm curious what people are doing if they're still using those jump bikes, the rental bikes, scooters, things like that. I'm sure people are probably totally freaked out, you know, using shared stuff, you know, whereas just as 2-3 weeks ago, not a problem. Everybody's on scooters, everybody's on electric bikes, everybody's on city bikes, touching everything, getting the corona, building up their tolerance, their immunity. I don't know. I've said a few things on social media about it. I don't know. It's hard to say stuff publicly. People are in such a heightened state of fear and panic. You know, they want answers. They want solutions. And it's hard to be honest with people and say we don't have all of that right now. And we're just not ready. That's one thing that I found. It's so funny, so interesting about us as humans. We're great at planning for the short term, what's right in front of us. But those bigger problems, we're so bad at saying, you know what, this is going to be a problem 10 or 15, 20, 50 years from now. We should probably try to solve it now. But, you know, people don't do that for whatever reason. You know, it's so much easier to just focus on the here and now. But, you know, we just have to ask ourselves those questions. You know, what type of world do we want to leave for the next generation? Do we want there to be next generations? I think the answer is yes, you know. But to do that, we really got to be smart. For some reason, we think that this whole thing lasts forever. But, you know, we're only here on Earth for a really short time. And we haven't really existed here that long. So this is very impermanent. This is very new. So we just got to be smart, you know, and just try our best to listen to experts, but be skeptical. Being skeptical is always important. I think, you know, when you just take things at face value, you can miss a lot. And we hope that everybody is on the up and up and being truthful, but that's not always the case. And, you know, we can really get confused, especially if something confirms our bias. You know, we want to believe something, and then we read something that a smart person or a friend says that aligns with what we believe, and the next thing you know, we're not only devouring that, but we're sharing it with others. And, you know, that's why I think, again, it's just so important to be smart and just be smart about things and share positivity, share things that lift people up. Of course, you know, we've got to make time for jokes and have fun, no doubt about that. I'm going to turn around here and start heading back. I don't want to get too caught up and be way downtown. So I'm going to start to head back to the hood now. Again, you guys will see it change gradually from all this nice stuff. Look, there's a Tesla right there. And we're going to make a right here on L. Safely, I might add. I'm just going to cut right over here. Again, it'll be a little bit boring and use the bike lanes. I mean, I could ride just out in the road, but I don't want to deal with all the hate. And there's just no reason right now. So, but yeah, back to what I was saying, you know, it's just so important to be smart, and, you know, it's so easy to share lots of silly stuff, and, you know, that's who we are too. We find the humor in things, and I think that's good. I don't think that it helps to be scared all the time. You know, I think we have to use fear as a tool, not as an inhibitor, and say, okay, I'm feeling fear for a reason. What is that reason? Dive into that and face it, and then say, okay, what can I do about that? What can I control, and what's out of my control? And then you find those things that are not in your control, and you just have to be able to let those go. And the things that you can control, you got to make a decision to do something about it, because nobody likes to hear anybody complaining all the time. Yeah, life isn't easy, you know, but if you're just going to complain all the time, it's never going to get you anywhere. I mean, it might for a little bit, but you can only get so far by complaining. So you got to be about action. And if you're going to be about action, you should be about smart action. If you're going to be about smart action, you got to be smart. I hope all that made sense. Maybe another little rant. Just a little filler, I guess. Trying to take in some of the sights here. Kind of nice to see it like this. I don't ever really get to see the DC streets like this with little to no traffic, especially, and this is like my commute home. What a joy. Totally. I mean, this is such a stark contrast. Again, I was out road for a little bit on Sunday, and just the large groups of people I was seeing, I was so surprised. Just so surprised. But it seems like people, I'm hoping, are starting to take some of that stuff more seriously, you know, and, you know, realize that, hey, it's not just about you. There's other people involved too. Just be smart. Again, man, I'm gonna be the poster child for safety and smartness by the end of this. One of my favorite parts of my commute home is just up over the hill. On the left is the convention center, and then on the right, just a little bit further up, is, or really right across from, is the newer Apple store. Not brand new, but pretty new. And for those of you who don't know, it used to be a library, and I think it was even a historic library. I mean, it looks like it anyway. It's got some historic features to it. Forgive me for not knowing the answer, but it's so nice. I think it's got like 3 levels. You can tell it's just got history and charm, but added with that new modern feel, Apple style. I know some of you guys don't like Apple, but, you know, tough luck. There's not an Android store, so I can't talk about it. And if there was, remember, I would be talking about smartness. You know, I really question, you know, somebody's decision-making abilities when I see they've got an Android. But, you know, to each their own. Speaking of Android phones, I don't know if some of you guys have been doing virtual happy hours or virtual get-togethers and just connecting with friends, family, etc. You know, this would be super easy if everybody had an iPhone. That way we could just FaceTime. It works pretty well. Little pro tip there. But our special green bubble friends, you know, they always got to make life just a little bit more, we'll say, exciting. And you know, functionality goes way down when you got a friend who has those green bubbles. Things just don't go the same. It's pretty casual out here right now. Go ahead and jump out on the road for a second here, but just to switch to the other side of the street, I'm getting ready to hop up on the sidewalk actually in just a second here. This is always a little tricky spot here, just with the merging of the cars, so we're definitely not looking for cyclists. Kind of nice with no cars out. I can actually ride in the road and feel a little bit more comfortable. Normally I'm up here, right here on the sidewalk when I'm coming home from work. It's just a little bit easier. It's a wide sidewalk, so it gives other people, you know, people walking, pedestrians, a little bit more room. So I never feel too guilty riding my bike on the sidewalk there. Here's I was talking about the convention center here on the left and the beautiful Apple store here on the right. That refurbished or redone library, it's just so pretty. We'll ride up here, do something a little different for a second. We hop off the curb here and jump back down on K Street, head back into Northeast. I don't know if there's anywhere else I should ride. Maybe I'll just do this as kind of an inaugural thing, and maybe I'll pick out a couple more paths and trails and see if I can't talk you guys through those maybe in the next few days. Keep me busy while I'm not, you know, working from home and quarantine for 23 hours a day. You see what I'm saying here? Like the road, I mean, there's this little makeshift bike lane, a little teaser of a bike lane. I mean, like a situation like this here, easy to get doored, easy to accidentally swerve out and become a road pancake. Not fun at all. Again, so it's just got to be heads up. You know, somebody can pull out at any second. But this is great. Yep, here we go. Getting back into Northeast here. And see the stark change in the scenery here as soon as we get ready to cross over from Northwest into Northeast. Traffic picking up just a little bit here. Like I said, I'm maybe not too surprised about that. I mean, those who are essential, those who are working or maybe coming into the workplace or the office, probably heading out around this time. Last of them, maybe. I feel for all the people who still have to go into work. It's tough. You know, you try to be, you know, do what's right for you and your family and the people who are closest to you. But the truth is, you know, not everything can just stop. Imagine, you know, and what is more money going to do? Yeah, it's going to make things easier for a little bit, but, you know, some of these things would just be real tough to go through without some essential employees. You know, I work in financial services, and you know, it's interesting just at this time people are so anxious, especially about money, and being able to be there for folks when they need you most, it really is a great feeling. And I just try to impart that on the rest of my team and my colleagues, and let folks know that, you know, we got to step up even though we're working from home. And yeah, it's nice, but then you settle into a groove and you realize, all right, it's time to get productive, and we've got to do our part. Going back under the tunnel here, same one that came through before. Again, just so crazy to see it without tents under here. Usually it's just lined with tents and homeless people. That's why I like to wear clear glasses, almost like goggles, when I ride. Just because the scenery changes so quickly. It could be bright and sunny, overcast, trees, cloudy, going through tunnels, things like that. So, you know, the scene and the terrain is just changing so frequently. I find just having a clear set of goggles is super helpful. You know, and who knows, maybe I'll change my mind at some point, but it's worked out pretty well. You know, I think I'm gonna have to call this video safety first, because I'm being a total nerd here. Total safety nerd. Hey, my guy's riding a Fuji there too. Now, typically when I'm riding home from work, this area here is packed with cars, and it's really tough to navigate sometimes, because of course, whenever cars see you, they either try to buzz you or speed up so that they can get around you. And I get that, especially if you're maybe just riding slow, or you know, they need to get around you, but it just gets a little gnarly sometimes. Drivers don't realize how terrifying it is for cyclists. You know, you're riding casually, and the next thing you know, a massive SUV just flies by trying to scare the shit out of you. They think it's funny, but you know, it really could cause problems. I'm trying to do a little PSA here, folks. You know, stay safe in the time of COVID. Let's do this. All right. Definitely back in Northeast now. Back in the hood, the stomping grounds. It's where all the magic happens. Where all the fun in DC really goes down. Gonna breeze through there. You see that door opening up just up there? That could have been me. You know, I guarantee you that person wasn't looking for somebody on a bike. Just gotta stay sharp. Just a couple blocks here from Lincoln back up with Florida Ave. What a shitty road. I mean, they really got to do something about that. It's terrible. So, gonna wind it down here. It's been pretty cool. I appreciate you guys joining me on this ride. It's my first official, I guess, ride and talk, ride and chat. I don't know what you want to call it, but I think it went pretty well. Overall, you guys let me know. Was it cool hearing me talk about this stuff? Was it kind of dumb? Maybe you want to hear me talk about something else. maybe there's a different area of DC that you want to see, or have some questions, or just want to pick my brain on anything. I mean, that's cool, I guess. I'm not an expert, just, you know, just dressed like one. So, all right, I'm getting back into the neighborhood here, so I'm gonna let you guys go. But again, appreciate it, and I'll see you guys next time.